All right, let me ask you a question. Have you ever received an offer on your home that made you wonder, are they serious? Maybe it was much lower than you expected, and now you're thinking, how do I respond? So lowball offers are part of the negotiation process, whether you're selling your home or making an offer on one. They're a tactic. And while they might feel frustrating and personal, they don't have to throw you off balance. So let's face it, receiving a lowball offer can feel like a slap in the face, but before you fire back with a rejection or walk away, take a second to step back and think about why this is happening, right? I call that putting your buyer hat on for a minute. Lowball offers are often used to test how flexible you are. The buyer is looking for a good deal, and as the seller, you're looking to get a fair price. So let's talk about 4 effective ways to respond to a lowball offer. Key point number 1 is understand the offer. So before you react, which is hard to do because nothing is more personal than home, of course, unless you're an investor just looking at the numbers, you need to understand where the offer is coming from, and that's my job. So figuring out, is the buyer maybe not taking the advice of their agent? Is the agent inexperienced? That's all my job to figure out. Your job as the seller is to decide what your bottom line is and where you're comfortable and try to remain unemotional. They might be testing your flexibility. Other times, they may not realize the true value of the property, which I can help illustrate for them. So knowing why they're offering less gives you a solid starting point for your response and gives you the space to decide how to counter effectively, which I am never the first person to walk away from a negotiation. Key point number 2 is to stay calm and collected. Again, a knee-jerk reaction just isn't going to help you close the deal, and it's my job to help you stay focused on the end goal. So whether you're the buyer or the seller, we have to keep a level head and not get rattled. When you stay calm, you show the other party that you're in control of the situation, and when you show your emotions, we kind of show our cards and put ourselves at a disadvantage. So I will be the buffer for all the things. Before doing anything, we just remember that this comes down to a business negotiation, and you've got the upper hand when you're composed. Key point number 3 is counter with confidence. So I'm going to help you put together a counter offer based on what we have in front of us and a conversation I've had with the agent. And of course, it's a totally different conversation if we've gotten more than one offer, right? Because we have a little more leverage. But if they've come in low, let's not be afraid to push back with a little bit of space and time between the counteroffers, but with something fair. The key is to remain reasonable but firm. So when we make this counteroffer, we're going to be clear about the value of the home or property. I will be highlighting all the strengths, the location, all the upgrades, the market demand. Solid facts and numbers never lie. So let's say that you're selling and the buyer comes in $20,000 under asking. You don't just say, no way. Instead, you can respond with something like, I appreciate it, but based on this factor and this factor and this factor, this is what we're willing to do. This shows you're reasonable and clear about the value that you bring. Key point number 4, I've already kind of talked about this. I'm never the first to walk away from an offer and negotiation, but you do need to know when it's time to abandon the conversation. So sometimes a lowball offer is just so extreme, it's so unreasonable that it isn't worth your time. If we're in a situation where you only have one offer, I know that it can be really scary to walk away, but we don't make decisions in fear in this process. We make decisions with numbers and market data, and if it comes to that point, we'll have that conversation at a higher level. So to wrap it all up, when it comes to handling lowball offers, it's all about understanding the offer, staying calm, countering confidently, and knowing when to walk away. This is where my expertise in communication and conversation and negotiation can really come into play. If you've dealt with a lowball offer before or have a strategy you've used, leave a comment below and let's talk about it. And if you found this video helpful, hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on more real estate tips and updates. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.